All right, we're going to start right now. But before we start, I would like to first of all seize the opportunity to thank all of you present to this University Interdisciplinary Seminar Series. This seminar series is not something that just happens. It comes with a lot of support from various units of the university and beyond. And I am proud and delighted that in our presence is our own very dean, the dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. I would like Dean Prakash to stand to be acknowledged. Give our dean a round of applause. The dean and the College of Arts and Sciences have been unrelenting and unwavering in their support for the seminar series. It initially started as a departmental thing. The college adopted it. It is a university-wide event today, and the college has not ceased to give its support. Amongst the supporters of this event, we could list the Andrew Mellon Foundation, the Tuskegee University Faculty Senate, the Office of the Provost, the National Park Services, and I repeat again, the College of Arts and Sciences, the College of Agriculture, Environment and Nutritional Sciences, the Department of Modern Languages, and most especially, we should thank the Legacy Museum for opening its doors to us. Look at how comfortable we are, okay? The hospitality, and before we even started, we were given a heads up, a little housekeeping, how we should behave here. So it is wonderful today to have in our midst somebody who had been in this university in several capacities. I'm not going to do the introduction because our own very Miss Jada Capel would introduce our speaker for us. So Miss Capel.
Dr. June C. Samuel is the founder and executive director of Serene Light Inc., a nonprofit volunteer network organization based in Tuskegee, Alabama. Dr. Samuel is a physician and counselor. She served in key administrative roles at Tuskegee University, including Director of Student Health Services for 30 years. She also served on national and state public health education boards and programs. She received her medical degree from Madras Medical College, India. She received her master's degree in counseling and student development from Tuskegee University. She holds numerous health education certifications. She continues to be active in civic and community organizations in the U.S. and serves on community boards. She has received many awards. Let's give Dr. Samuel a warm
You know. Thank you. Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Can you hear me in the back?
Yes.
Great. I am so excited to be here today. I know it was homecoming a few weeks ago in Tuskegee University, but today is my homecoming. And this is like coming home because Tuskegee University has a very special part in my heart, and also I'm going to talk to you and find out why I say that in a few minutes. But it's exciting to be here, and I really want to appreciate Dr. William Indy for making this possible. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And of course, my friend Dr. Chitra Naik for her encouragement. I appreciate you coming too, and Dr. Prakash, Dr. Moon, and others. And of course, thank you all for coming. I know it's 4 o'clock in the evening, maybe a little tired after class. hopefully it will be an interesting session. I'm going to speak for a few minutes, and then hopefully it will be more interactive. I look forward to that. Okay, I'm kind of very honored, but I'm also amused to be here as the author of a book. As Dr. Indy said, I have served in many roles at the university, and this is a new experience for me to be an author of a book. So just to start out, why does somebody decide to write a book? Especially a book about themselves, their life stories, autobiographies. Well, I think there are many reasons, but the first reason is you really feel happy talking about your life and your journey, and as we said, especially the special relationships over the years, the special people in your life, it makes you happy, and it's a very cathartic and therapeutic experience. You keep it, hold it inside. I'm sure many of you may write books in the future, so kind of keep everything inside, but at the same time share your stories. And it's personal, but it's also very exciting to find other people who appreciate it. And the second reason, of course, you hope that people who read your book will find something good in it, something interesting, something important, and maybe they will remember the message of the book. So that's how it started. Like everyone, I love reading and writing, okay? And not just to, of course, novels and such things are good, but mostly books which are inspirational and motivating, So, and I love quotes. I don't know how many of you love quotes, but, I assume everybody loves, quotes stay with us, right? So one day when I read this quote by the American poet Mary Oliver in her Instructions for Living a Life, she just simply says, pay attention to life, be astonished, be surprised, and then tell about it. So it made me stop and think. As I said before, I'm not a professional author, but it has been an unusual and interesting life for sure. So I thought other people may also find what I say interesting. Since this is a first book for me, I thought I'll just go with a small book. I think I will give this to you. You could pass it on. It's a very small book with a collection of short stories.
Well, that's how it looks. Pass it along.
It is autobiographical, meaning it is about my life. And as I said, it's a collection of short stories. So I decided to start by talking about my childhood. I grew up in India before I came over here, so I thought that would be interesting. And the title of the book is The Audacity to Carry On. The title itself gives away this, the theme of the book, right? Audacity is courage, bravery to live life, to continue going no matter what your circumstances are. And I love the word audacity. As a matter of fact, President Barack Obama wrote a book called The Audacity of Hope. And that word, always stuck with me. I found it a beautiful word and a very powerful word. And then another quote from Matt Haig. In his book, Midnight Library, he says, sometimes you come to a point where you have to speak your own truth loud. When you do that, you will find that you will find others like you. Because often in life, we think nobody else will understand what you're going through, nobody cares. But as he says, sometimes when you speak your own truth, your story, your truth, then other people will kind of relate to it and say, the other people go through what I'm going through. So I thought that would be an interesting thing to do. So I started, as I said, the book with my childhood in India. And I thought I'd focus on two main characters or people in my life. The first was my mother, and the second was my grandfather. My mother truly was a force of nature. I'm sure many of you may have independent, strong mothers, so maybe you can relate to that. She was a unique character, and I don't say this as a biased daughter, but I was often kind of astonished by the way my mother was. And I took a step back, and I kind of, like I said, I admired her, astonished by her. I would just say that anybody who has met my mother could never forget her. She was one of those strange and interesting people. And then there was my grandfather. My grandfather was a grand old man. Again, this is not my biased opinion. He really was a one-of-a-kind person. In my native language, Tamil, which is a glorious old ancient language for 5,000 years, we call our grandfather Tata. Tata means grandfather. My beloved Tata was not only a Tata to me, he was the Tata to the entire community. His home was open to everyone, and he had this like a warrior-like presence. He was a soldier in World War II. He served in the armed forces, British Indian armed forces, and he traveled around the world. We're talking about 80 years ago, 100 years, World War II. So he had this aura naturally as a soldier, but he also had a degree in English literature. He loved books. He opened up his house with a book club. Before book clubs became popular, like I'm sure all of you know about Oprah's book club and other book club, my grandfather just started a book club in his own house. And this museum kind of is so beautiful, and I was just looking at it because it has kind of the same aura. There are a lot of pictures and a lot of images where people who get your curiosity would go and look. It was not a museum, but it was a very interesting setting. So the beginnings of my life started, as I said, in India with very interesting people in my own family. And again, you may have, I'm sure all of you are very interesting people in your life. They become even more special as time goes by and we age and we look back, and when they're no longer there, as I said in the beginning, we enjoy talking about them. We enjoy talking about their life. Although this seminar is really about my book, I really wanted to take, and I hope you don't mind, talk about my own connections to Tuskegee University. Believe it or not, I was 10 years old when I came to Tuskegee for the first time with my mother. That should tell my age, and that was in the 1970s, so I'm really old, okay? But my mother brought me to Tuskegee campus. Both my parents, my father and mother, were faculty members in the 1970s and 80s at Tuskegee. My father was an associate professor at the College of Business, and my mother was also a faculty member at the College of Education. So I was this child they left behind in India growing up, and I came to visit them for the first time. So when I first came to this campus, obviously it was a different time, it was a little different, but it was still as beautiful as it is today. And I almost feel emotional coming back, later in different roles, but it was an extraordinary experience. And Dr. Needy was talking to me earlier. She told me about Booker T. Washington. She told me about George Washington Carver. So even as a child, I started learning about them, and to actually come to this campus and look at this campus was an incredible experience. After I finished high school, I decided to, after I finished medical school, and of course I went to medical school, and after I finished my medical school, now fast forward to the 80s. I got married, and my husband and I, we came to Tuskegee. When I came to Tuskegee, this building, this John A. Kenny Hall, was John A. Andrew Community Hospital. Do any of you know that? Very good. Excellent. It seems so long ago. And I worked as a physician in John A. Andrew Community Hospital. Those days, there were not many good healthcare offered to African American patients, especially mothers who were, pregnant mothers who were delivering babies. And it was again one of those, incredible life experiences to work in the hospital, and the doctors here were pioneer African American doctors, and I had the privilege of getting to know quite a few of them, many of them. So I'm going to talk about two of my mentors. My first mentor was Dr. Robert X. Williams. I don't know how many of you are from Alabama, but usually when I come to a meeting like this, there are a lot of people in Tuskegee who were delivered by him or had a family member delivered by him. Dr. Robert X. Williams was an amazing, brilliant doctor. I am not exaggerating when I say he delivered 8,000 babies in this hospital. The women in Macon County, the surrounding rural counties, Russell, Lee, Bullock, the rural area, there was no hospital. Unfortunately, we still don't have a hospital here. But it was a hospital filled all the time with patients, and Dr. Williams was one of those, like I said, amazing doctors. And I had the privilege of working closely with him. it was some experience to watch him do surgeries. It was baby after baby after baby, C-section baby, because there were two OBGYNs, and one of them retired, and he was the only OBGYN in his entire area. Unfortunately, Dr. Williams passed away much too soon, and it was really personally a very, very difficult time for me, because I lost a mentor, I lost a friend, for somebody who embraced me when I came to this country, taught me so much, and it was really a very difficult time. So I just thought, this story should be told. Nobody can forget Dr. Robert X. Williams. So what I decided was, before I wrote the book, actually, I thought maybe write an article, a memoir about him. So I did do that, an article about his life. And I said, not only people locally, everybody should know about him. So I thought I should send this article to a medical school. So once, future doctors and young doctors will know about a doctor in Tuskegee, Alabama, who delivered so many babies in underprivileged, very rural areas. So, and then I started, who should I send this article to? I was looking at the list of medical schools where I could send this article. And I said, why not? Let's go to Harvard. Let me go to Harvard University and see what they do. So, from little old Tuskegee, I wrote this article, and I sent this article, and I talked to someone there, and I was really, again, as I said, really astonished. I was astonished when they said, we will be happy to publish your article about Dr. Robert X. Williams. So it was one of my greatest honors to write about him, and I hope that young doctors, and some of you may become doctors here, get to know about pioneer African American doctors like him, who made a commitment, who dedicated their lives to come and help people in underprivileged areas, rural areas, where there's so much shortage of doctors. So after Dr. Williams, that was my second return to Tuskegee University, campus, I should say. And by the time Dr. Williams passed away, the hospital was closed because, again, there was a lot of issues. There was a shortage of doctors, so it became a challenge to run hospital. So as I was sitting and thinking, what do I do next? Do I go to another hospital and work and career? And I thought I had to do some self-reflection. There was a period, like I said, it was a difficult time after his passing. We had to send all the patients to different hospitals. It was a very challenging time in healthcare at that time. So as I was thinking, enter mentor number 2. Her name was Dr. Fanny Cooley. Dr. Fanny Cooley was the head of the Department of Counseling at Tuskegee University. And she was another pioneer in counselor education. She was well respected by the American Counseling Association. She was the first African American president of Alabama Counseling Association. So again, in life there are no coincidences. I think everything has a purpose and meaning. So when I got to meet her apart, and then she said, would you consider studying counseling? And here I am a doctor, and I said, should I really study counseling? That would be taking a totally different path, And then I thought about it and said, well, I had a small child at home, and my family was here, and I said, let me do that. Again, just like Dr. Williams, she took me under her wings, and it was an incredible experience learning from her the best, And I finished my master's in counseling and student development at TU, so I am a proud TU alum also. So, story continues. Lot of twists and turns, and then I briefly worked at Student Health Services, a student health center at Tuskegee. And then I was looking for an opportunity, to go say, I've had enough of Tuskegee. I have to move away. To my surprise again, whatever force brought me here today. Say, oh no, you're going to stay in Tuskegee for some more time. I met the Vice President of Student Affairs at that time, Mr. Cyrus, who said, would you be interested in being the Director of Student Health at Tuskegee University? That really amazed me. And then he said, you should meet with the President, Dr. Benjamin Payton. And, I must say, I had the privilege of working with all the presidents from Dr. Benjamin Payton to Dr. Charlotte Morris. And there was no one, in my biased opinion, there was no one like Dr. Payton. It was intimidating to meet him, the questions he has. Again, this is all, like I said, there is no coincidence. It was an amazing experience working at Tuskegee University. I enjoyed working every moment. There were many challenges. I enjoyed working with the president's office, the faculty members who were always very supportive, and above all, my beloved Tuskegee students. I keep in touch with them, I miss them, and I'm so happy to see my student faces again. So thank you again, Anthony. It's a pleasure to come and talk to you all, because it brings back so many memories. This building brings back memories. The campus brings back memories. Just seeing you all brings back memories. And then that was another chapter. As I said, some people's lives seems like a continuing story. My story is like little chapters connected to them. So, and on we went. Life went on, and hopefully, we tried to provide the best healthcare for students. It was challenging, and I enjoyed, but I also decided to do something different. I say this because in life, unexpected things happen to us. We may think we are on one career track. You should, if you are pursuing a degree, you should certainly graduate in the degree. But then, there are many options. Okay, your career paths may change, like they did for me. Lot of different changes. Some you plan and you want to do, some unexpectedly happen to you. So, if I can say that, being a student at this wonderful university, you have so many opportunities will open up. And look at all your opportunities, don't restrict them to any. And there are many wonderful professors, caring professors here, deans, I'm sure, who will provide you guidance and help and references to get into other universities, programs once you graduate from here. And like I said, I am a living example of coming back again and again. So you never know what is going to happen. So time goes by fast, life goes on fast, and as literally, like today I've been talking for a few minutes, it goes by fast. I just wanted to make sure that traveling around the world is a great experience. I was amazed, Dr. Nidhi again was talking to me about his experience. His experience was so extraordinary. So you have a lot of people in Tuskegee, like Dr. Nidhi, like Dr. Chitra, a lot of others, who will really be happy to mentor you, talk to you about doing different things in life. And this gives you the fundamentals, right? Like for me and so many others who have come through these gates before. Finally, to talk about my book. So my book started with my childhood and I went on into different experiences. But the common theme was the Audacity carry on. As I was working in a student health center, I used to volunteer in different, especially different 1-800 numbers, we used to call it crisis lines. And this particular story I'm going to tell before I end has touched, I've gone to a few book meetings and people always ask me about this story because it was during the early years and it was quite an extraordinary experience. When you're working with the suicide hotline, it is very stressful because people, not only for us obviously, but for the person, it is a huge crisis. So one afternoon, they said there was a phone call from a young man. So I picked up the phone and it was a young man, his name was Sean. And he was in his 20s. But he had gone through a lot in his life and he decided to give up. Unfortunately, a lot of people have struggles and he decided to take some pills. He had taken an overdose. The only good thing was he did not take that many pills. We were able to save him. So when I started to talk to him, he started opening up and talking, and you can see the pain in his voice and everything. And then somehow we connected, and then after he was checked out, of course, we had to call the ambulance, he had to go to the hospital and all that. He promised me he'll come and see me. So when he walked into the health center, and I met with him and I talked to him for a while, it was an amazing conversation. Because here he was, somebody from a totally different background, and he said, it is very interesting, I met you at the most unexpected time in my life. And he thought I was Mexican. People have mistaken people of all kind of nationality. And he said, but when you talked to me, you had this very funny accent. It made me stop and listen to you. So, even an accent can be a positive sometimes, and then it can be life-saving. You think people say, where are you from? What is your accent like? It can happen to anyone. But that story was literally life-changing. And that brings us to today. I just read a study where 56% of people in the United States say they are lonely, they're depressed. The numbers for young people is even higher, and that is kind of shocking but not shocking, because we are living the most technology connected times. Everybody has a device at home, in their hands, all the time. We think we are connected. But no matter how many things change in life, the fundamental human needs don't change. You want a friendly voice, somebody to hear to a caring presence in your life. And believe me, there are caring people in our life. It was not more, who would have thought there would be a COVID, virus, pandemic, which will affect all over the world. We will be locked up in our homes. And that really changed the world. And now we are seeing all kind of ancient wars coming back, raging all over the world. There is a lot of pain, a lot of disillusionment, young people, families, social structures, the support structures may not be there for everyone. But I just wanted to leave you with this final message in my book. It's really about not ever giving up. You must have the audacity to carry on. You must have the courage to go through it. And never ever think you are alone. I will end this brief speech with some lines from the poet Maya Angelou. She says, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, just survive, but to thrive. You should thrive. And try to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." So I wish you all the very best in your journeys in life. Never ever give up, have the audacity to carry on, and always, always reach out to someone if you need to talk to someone or something. Again, I really appreciate this opportunity to see you all, meet with you all. I'll be glad to listen to your comments, questions. Thank you.
I hope we can do better than that, Tuskegee. Thank you very much. Now you have listened. Before I give the floor, I want to thank you most heartily. That is, you have given us a riveting moment of reflection, a moment for us to take. I know it will take a minute to digest everything you've given us, and I'm sure those who would lay their hands on your book and read would learn and understand that the world is not just a spot. It is an expanse. It is large. There is a lot you can gain. Don't limit your scope. Don't limit yourself. Don't say, I'm tied down. Your personal circumstances should not define you. And that is what Dr. Samuel's book, The Audacity to Carry On, is all about. You might have challenges. We all do. There is none of us who would say they've never had a challenge. You have a challenge. The solution to your challenge might just be talking to somebody. Remember the story of the young man who says they met at an unexpected moment? That unexpected moment could be the moment you just decide to open your mouth to somebody. So thank you, Dr. Samuel. I'm not going to steal the show because I know there are many questions, many reflections, and we will welcome the questions and reflections, and you will shed light on them.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I first want to thank you for coming out to speak with us. My name is Sanaya Turner, and I'm a junior sociology major here.
Great.
And you talked about it being your first time writing a book, so I wanted to know if you had any advice for first-time writers or people who are thinking about writing a book, because it seems like a very intimidating process. So I just wanted to know if you had any tips.
Well, first, don't be intimidated. Think about what, as I said, it has to be from your heart, first of all. This kind of books, you know, people write novels, they're different, obviously different genre. If it's a novel, it's different. If it's some, you know, when you're writing an autobiography, if you decide to do that, obviously you must be willing to share your experiences. And of course, some thoughtfulness goes into preparation, I would say, goes into the book. But you can always keep a journal, and you know, don't underestimate yourself. You'll be surprised once you get into a habit of writing on a regular basis. As I said, I started writing some articles first to test it, including, and then, you know, so step by step, maybe write some articles. This is just my suggestion, you know, write articles, something you're familiar with, and then make it a habit to write. And then so you start out by that, and then the subject matter, whatever, you know, touches you, moves you, and whatever you feel you have something to say about. You know, again, you know, I thought my childhood experiences, my journey, certain parts of it may be interesting. So keep a journal, experiment, and do it consistently. Writing should be consistent, I feel, because if you do it on a regular basis, even if it's nobody else, you just for yourself, it helped. It helped me anyway. And then when you look for a publisher, you know, again, I was enormously lucky. The Harvard article gave me a huge boost, and I said, okay, maybe what I can say, you know, people are interested. So try small. I don't know, social media, some people nowadays, they try starting on social media, but it's such a, you know, you really have to at least write a page, I think, a couple of, you know, not 14 characters or whatever, Twitter and all those things are good. But writing a book is a little different. And then once you do it, finish writing a book, don't be afraid to send it to different people. And you know, you never know. That's another thing I can say. Never know should be a theme of a book. Never know. You know, you will find unexpectedly something may get published. Somebody may, you know, you'll find somebody supportive for you. So I think it's wonderful to start thinking about writing, do it consistently, prepare for it, and write from your heart. I think that should be good.
Okay, thank you. I saw a hand there. Dr. Dankins?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Hi.
My name is Alan Jenkins.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to know, how would I know when I get that spark of audacity?
How would you know?
Yes.
When he has the spark of audacity.
Okay. Well, I always talk about humans in 3 levels, right? We have a physical level, we have a psychological level, and we have a spiritual level, right? And basically, when we get discouraged or depressed, what do we, you know, what do you look for? I mean, faith for me is an important part of my life. Family is an important part of life. So when your light, as we call our light, kind of becomes dim or low, you need somebody to spark, a spark in your life, right? So those are the main sources. Does it answer your question? You look for faith, you look for family, you look for somebody who can do it. And then you really, in the end, we are all alone on some level, right? So you have to find a way to motivate yourself, whatever motivates, like the young lady, maybe writing may motivate her, you know, certain good habits motivate us, you know, it may be, so whatever you feel will energize you, for lack of a better word, energize you, motivate you. It could be, you know, listening to a song, it can be saying a small prayer, it can be talking to a family member, a friend, or professionally someone. It can be different sources where the spark comes from. So, does it make sense?
Yes, yes.
So whatever you enjoy, even a song sometimes when we are feeling down, you know, a certain song uplifts us, right? And we will all run out of energy. That's human, you know, we are human, right? So the mental energy always, especially you're in college, you're doing so many things, it's stressful, your energy levels will go down. You have to keep that energy level up. I'm not saying, that's why unfortunately, I don't just want to touch about it, people turn to other things, negative things, like, you know, substances, all kind of negative influences, but try to stay positive. And even if there's 1 or 2 people in your life who are positive, who kind of encourage you, that goes a long way, I think.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, yes, I saw your hand. We'll catch you guys.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. I'm Jeffrey Blackwood,
Yes.
freshman aerospace engineer.
Great.
So I want to know, what's some challenges you faced
Well, challenges in sense, you mean in the external level, like the place in small town, or you're talking about a lot of
I'd
different
like to
things?
hear on both sides, external and
Internal. External, of course, you have to get here. Tuskegee is a very unique place. It takes some time to fall in love with Tuskegee, to be honest. But people were it comes down to people, and I enjoy living here. I do not know about tomorrow, where life will take us. So far, we've been here a long time. So there were a lot of small town challenges. I'm sure they're still there, right?
Yes.
At least now in a way, we're globally connected. When I came, there's hardly anything to connect, so we had to make human connections. We had to keep going. Of course, I started working, and I visited Tuskegee as a child many times during summertime. There we had a couple of weeks off in India, so I used to come and visit my parents. In my book, it's funny because first time getting on a plane, I was only 10 years old. They put me on a plane and sent me across the world, So my grandfather had that faith in me that I can survive, He told me how to behave, how to be good, how to talk to people as a child. And I used to wear this little sign like saying unaccompanied minor. That's what it used to say. So all the flight attendants, they used to take such good care of me. So I kind of always enjoyed and had some faith in myself and people. But as you say, no matter, as in this said, no matter what your education, your profession, there will be ups and downs. So you just have to, have some faith. And again, the support matters a lot during this hard time. There were plenty of challenges. When this hospital closed, that was one of the most difficult. Suddenly one day you're working with it, and then he literally died in an operating room. Can you believe it? With his gloves on in Bullock County, because there is no hospital here. It's a very small rural hospital in Bullock County. So all his patients went to Bullock County, which is about 25 miles from here, Union Springs, and the babies were delivered there. He was on a truck, back and forth, and he died of a massive heart attack, right in the operating room. And they had to fly in, by a helicopter, and the surgeon, he was doing the surgery there. So, his loss was one of the greatest challenges for me. Career, it changed so many things in my life. But that's an extreme example. But day-to-day examples are always there, right? So again, you must have a sense of purpose in your life. You must be willing to reach out to other people. Do your best. Yes.
what did you do to overcome, really mentally dealing with that,
Mentally,
especially since he's
to be honest,
Of
family, my parents were here at the time, my husband and son were here. A lot of colleagues, of course, you have to go, you can't help but go through grief. Grief is something you just don't cope immediately, You have to go through the process. When you lose a loved one, and so it was a process, I would say. But then you bounce back. You kind of, of course, grief, like I said, there is a period when nothing to do will help, unfortunately. You have to cry, you have to go through, and then there's a lot of changes, what comes next, right? So you constantly make adjustments in life. People who are successful, I think that's what we try. When I say not even successful career-wise, as a human, not get so down, you have to constantly find ways to motivate yourself, find ways and connect with maybe your family, a few friends who encourage you. Say, don't give up, something will come. I'm sure you heard this, right?
Yes, of
It
course.
literally is true. Something at this, I'm sure you heard this too shall pass. It has to pass. Nothing we can do. But just remember, the unexpected good things will come to you. So never give up. And I think good connections are important. Support is important. But of course, for me, faith was important. So prayed a lot, cried a lot, prayed a lot. And then amazing opportunities came. You can't explain all of them, why they happened, why, we met wonderful people. So, the one thing I will, like I said, Dr. Williams and Dr. Cooley, these people came into my life. Always, keep in touch with good connections in your life. Maybe professors, maybe others in your life, your families, you may have mentors. Always that helps. I think that's a big part, having a good mentor. And you should be also a mentor to someone else. It's just life comes full circle. And before you know it, you'll be a mentor to a young person in high school. I'm sure you're a freshman.
Yes.
A lot of people will look up to. Where are you from?
Florida.
From Florida. I'm sure people there will, they will say, oh, you went to Tuskegee. I always had that. I'm sure it will happen for you. And then you have to mentor. So that's nothing like helping others to help yourself, to be honest. When you continuously focus on yourself, sometimes you get too down. But if you help a young person, another young person, mentor a person, you feel a lot better about yourself.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for coming. My name is Isis Griffin. I'm a sophomore psychology major.
Great.
And I was kind of curious, if you wanted to read her book, where could we purchase it?
Say it again.
If we wanted to read her book, where could we purchase it from someone else?
Well, I'm.
That where we can purchase.
Purchase a book. Okay, it's on Amazon. I'm sorry, it's on Amazon. I'm sorry, Amazon. Yeah, it's in bookstores. In a lot of bookstores. It's also Amazon. Other online bookstores. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes. I think he raised it then. Yes.
Hi, I just want to say thank you. My name is Kabir Freeland. My one question I had was, which you already answered, what hardships have you endured in your journey? But I guess I'll ask, what advice would you give to those like the youth who wish to be positive agents of change in society?
Yes, as I mentioned before, helping others, first of all, you have a great opportunity with us here, okay? Not everybody has, in life, right? We're looking at the world today. You're fortunate to be at a great institution. So make the best of it. And then, of course, again, when opportunities come in life, be positive, good influences. College life is fun. I worked in student health for 30 years, as you all know. I mean, like any college campus, Tuskegee has its interesting moments, right? And the students will experiment. There will be friends, peer pressure, a lot of positive and negative influences, right? I mean, you can't be serious all the time, but at the same time, you have to know your limits and appreciate the opportunity to be here. So, again, have some good influences, be positive, have a purpose, have goals in your life. Not all goals may be accomplished, but at least have a few goals in your life. So if there is purpose, meaning, and goals, such things in life, I think it makes the journey a little easier. So you won't get discouraged with every little thing, Always good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Did you ask? You raised your hand, right? Yes. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. My name is Tyler Mason. First off, I want to say congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
And what really stuck out with your conversation about the mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
So my question was, actually, I think he was talking about it too. But like, what type of traits did you see in your mentor? Like you were trying to find them?
Find them? Well, again, for me, there's two things. One, there are some people who want to be mentors, right? They look for opportunities to help young people. Like Dr. Williams, I just worked with him. I mean, he saw me, a young Indian doctor from India, and he was this brilliant doctor. He thought, and of course, so he just took me under his wings, same with Dr. Cooley. They took me under the wings and tried to, if you find somebody you admire or you appreciate it could be a professor, it could be someone else in your life, a coach, I mean, it can be anyone, really, try to talk to them and then approach them. And I think some of you do internships, right? Not so much, all of you probably do internship. At those places, you may find people who may be inspiring to you, make a good connection with them. And I honestly think a lot of people who are accomplished want to teach their skills and different things to somebody else, so to pass on their legacy. So again, you keep your eyes open and you suddenly meet somebody, and I don't know how to explain it. You just find a connection with somebody, and they're willing to help you go above and beyond, if you will. So it's very important. Nobody can come up in life alone. You really do need connection. You need somebody to support you, always help you, have your back, as we say, in good times and bad times. So I think God has blessed everyone to find somebody like that. It may not be easy always, but just again, as the poet said, observe everybody. Observe everybody. They may not say, come out and say, I want to be a mentor. They may not say that. But you will never know, they may pay attention. Oh, this is a nice young man, he has potential. So I'm going to help him if he does well. So those are some of the things, pay attention to people around you. Tuskegee has always had many wonderful mentors, and I'm sure you will find someone. And don't be afraid to approach them. Go and say, I would like to learn from you. I would like to know some more things from you. So you'll be surprised how willing they are to help you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
First, I just want to say thank you for coming here. I'm Tyler Scott, sophomore, computer science major. My question was, hopefully it's not too dim, but my question was, what do you do if you don't know how or where to find your spark?
Your spark, okay. As I told him before, it's different for different people. What do you enjoy? What do you like? And like I said, for some people, again, your interest, your passion, you have to figure it out what you like. And then I talked about the family part, faith part. You're feeling dull and down, you just go say prayers. For some people, that will create some energy, Some people may talk to somebody you like. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be someone. And they say, you know what, this is not the end of the world, Keep carrying on. Don't get depressed, don't get down. Some situations, professionals are also good counselors or people who can, again, mentors, counselors, they're good to talk to. Just somebody who listens to you. There are people there, it's always something amazing, but again, I think if you're one of those people who love music or something creativity will paint, something to regain your energy or rejuvenate you, or maybe travel, what to say that, maybe if your friend sometime going out of town that you said a couple of months, right now you're a student, you're not able to do that, but eventually I'm saying, sometimes you may need a break and go visit somebody you've never visited in a long time, a new place. And then something will trigger some new energy, So you are going to read. There are all kind of ways people find the spark. It's hard for me, it may be something different, for you it may be something different. But the spark may come back, that much I can say. I can't say how exactly, but suddenly, I don't know how there is a voice, something motivate you or inspire you with that. Yes. And one thing I want to say, don't try to be like everyone else. Okay? People always look at somebody else's journey and say, I want to be like, yes, there are some things you can learn from everyone, but you're so unique. My life, one thing I know, good thing my grandfather taught me was, like, he always used to tell me, like a race horse, you run, they used to put these little blinders in the eyes, I don't know. You don't look at any other horse, you run your race, Like if you keep comparing yourself with somebody else, that person did this and that. Yet, sometimes to admire people is a good thing, but you have your unique fact, unique voice, unique everything, right? So you may invent something, that's how people create new things, because they do something totally different. They say think outside the box, there are a lot of cliches we use. But it has to be something unique to get people's attention. If you're like everybody else, then so that's creativity, faith, all kind of related, human, it can be something like I said, travel, it can be different things. Or just help a young person. For me, I found that, in my nonprofit organization, when you try to help someone, even if I'm feeling down or whatever that day, that kind of is very rewarding experience. So always help, some role in the community, volunteering, those are things, you'll be surprised how much it makes you feel good, Yes. Yes.
Hi. My name is Philip Smith. I'm a computer engineering major. First, thank you for coming out and sharing your experiences with us. And I apologize for coming in late. But I like what you just said about how everybody's different and everybody's journey is unique. I really I agree with that. And I know that there's a lot of different ways to accomplish success, and that people's ideas of success differ, right?
Right.
So what set you apart from your peers when you were coming up? What did you do different, or what personality traits might have you had that were different?
It's a good question, because the book, as I said, I focused on two people, my mom and my grandfather. They were one of a kind. As a child when I was looking, my mother was so different. She was totally independent growing up in India. How can I say this? she was different. She stood out, my grandfather too. So again, things which make it different are really, something, I don't want to call it spiritual, but it's something related to be true to yourself. Of course you have to have goals, you have to have preparation, you have to work hard, all those things are there. But you just think a little bit different from everybody else. And just like, okay, this person is driving this car. I'm just giving a simple example. I have to get the same car. It could be a house, it could be a car, it can be a girlfriend, it could be anything. You just compare yourselves with other people. You have to be the best in what you do. You have to be best. And not many doctors became counselors. Not many Indian women, to be honest, came to Tuskegee and worked in a hospital delivering babies. So I'm sure that everybody has their own unique experience. So wherever life takes you, I don't believe in coincidences. It's just your purpose and mission. Sometimes you're aware of what is going on, and you just have to pick up on that and say, I'm going to accomplish something for me. Again, there will be ups and downs. I would certainly say it's not easy. Life is not easy for any of us. So I think that's what you should try to do. You will get the inspiration. Pray sometime, you will just find out your purpose. You suddenly may meet somebody in life. And then suddenly there will be a spark. We're talking about spark. Okay, maybe this is my calling, this is my mission. If somebody would have told me I would have lived 40 years in Tuskegee, I would be like, are you joking? Like anybody, like, how did you live here? I really think it has been an extraordinary experience because it's like nobody else's. So it may be something very different for you. So, never be afraid, be fearless, fight things, be helpful to people. Those things will go a long way.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm Lydia Virgin. I'm a sophomore aerospace engineer. And I wanted to know, based on your success and career advancements, what are some specific skills required and possessed that help you throughout your life?
Okay. In general, of course, it's specific fields. Communication skills are important. Interpersonal skills, people are important. How you deal with people will go a long way. I think, as I said, even in the story of Sean, he thought, I was a Mexican woman with a funny accent. But you must be able to communicate well. Okay? And I think for me, honestly, when I first came, I had a much heavier accent than what I have now. Dr. Miller didn't look at that at all. He just, saw me as a young woman, a young physician who can learn. So interpersonal skills are very important, I think. Communication skills are very important. And you must speak your word. I think people appreciate certain social skills where when you say something, you're going to do something, you must speak your word. You cannot, and you have to be consistent in what you do. If you're consistent, you work hard. As I said, you talk to people. People maybe come from different backgrounds, but never ever look at someone or see someone and say, oh, I cannot learn anything from this person, or this person will not understand. You never know. Sometimes your own will not understand you. That's what I found is when I came to this, many people think where are you from? And I'll say I'm from Tuskegee. They say, oh, you're joking. No, I'm for real, It's because I've lived 2/3 of my life here, really. So, interpersonal skill, communication, being authentic, consistent in what you do, those things, hard work, of course. Yes.
I just want to say I really like what you said about keeping your word. I really agree with that. That's something I try to do a lot. So
It will go a long way because people watch that, and even if you're good at something, but if you're not, you say something, especially when you become work somewhere and work in whether it's any company, organization, or even your friends, relationships. You tell somebody I'll come at 5 o'clock and you don't show up and you don't even care to call. This common, and you respect. You want respect, right? And if you want respect, you have to act in a respectful way. And of course, respecting everything. I left out the most important thing. If you respect everyone, at least 90% of people return respect. There's always somebody who doesn't, but very important to respect everyone, keep an open mind. So that. Yes.
Another question I have for you. What does Audacity
Okay. Well, I was thinking courage to live, to be brave enough to live. I mean, we need some guts or chutzpah, or whatever you call it, some courage, to, no matter what, I'm not giving up. Sometimes, I have to say, I've read my doctor's appointment. There are times that some people are very depressed. It's more than just, talk your way through it. Sometimes professional help may be necessary for some people. When you're trying everything, nothing is working, maybe you have to talk to somebody professional. But most people don't. But there are situations where you may have to do that. But basically, it's the courage, not to be intimidated by anyone, not to be afraid. So don't be afraid to live. That's all. You have to keep living. None of us. It's all one day at a time, right? Tomorrow we don't know where we will be. Next week, we don't know where we will be. 5 years from now, it's all one day at a time. So for that day, have the courage to. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. That's all.
I'd just like to add something. Are there still other questions? But before we take other questions, I would just like to say something. For those of you who are here, it is so interesting. Dr. Samuels is telling us about the courage and audacity to live. I just remember that I'm sitting where I'm sitting. You see this statue exhibited in the museum. This is determination. So don't leave the museum, okay, without getting a picture with determination. And when you get a picture with determination, remember that the determination you leave this place with is that courage. It is that audacity that Dr. Samuels talks about to you. Okay? So we'll take a few other questions before we call it a day. If there are questions, the questions are welcome. Any other questions? Well, I see some people at the back. Trey, you have a question?
No, sir, I ain't got no question.
All right. Well,
I just want to say, the audacity question that I asked you, I wasn't looking for the word bravery, but guts and the determination, those words put together that you told me, made me feel like that was how that's how I kind of relate to it. For me, is that's what I live by, not to be a burden, but to help, to be a motivator almost. So thank you.
And as I said before, I first heard about that word from President Barack Obama's book, Audacity of Hope, because, his life was interesting. So I thought, that audacity was very good. Yes.
I don't really have a question. I just want to say a big thanks to you.
Oh, thank you.
Having a motivated speech is really inspiring, especially during these hard times of trying to get to know yourself and what you're interested in. So especially about being credible, I don't know, that just really did something to me in my spirit.
Thank you
So I really appreciate you.
That's very appreciated. Thank you.
all right. If there are no questions, I would like all of us to raise our hands really up, okay? And give Dr. Samuels the biggest round of applause. And I will invite you, if you want some pictures with Dr. Samuels and determination, Dr. Samuels is right here, and she will get to, I'll take the pictures.